Yo, what is up guys, and welcome to another Wild Rift video. And in today's video, I got you guys Aatrox in the Baron lane. I'm sorry for the late upload. I'll explain during the gameplay what is happening and stuff. So, there's timestamps in the description to just skip to the gameplay. This is gonna be crazy, by the way, because it's gonna be Lonelykid playing Aatrox in his main role, which is the Baron lane. So, first I'm gonna explain to you guys how to build Aatrox. There's timestamps in the description to skip to the gameplay. Building Aatrox, I would say, is kind of simple. Pretty easy. You don't really have to think too much. First item is always going to be a Black Cleaver. Regardless of you being against tanks, squishies, just go Black Cleaver. Like, I can explain why, but I can also just tell you, just go for it. It's always good on Aatrox. Now, second item, this one is a bit interesting because it's basically also always good to go Death's Dance. Unless you're in the situation where you're against like full AP, full AP. If you're against like heavy AP, you have two choices. I'm only talking about heavy AP matchups. Oh, yeah, you can go for Spirit Visage. Go for this one if you want to be tanky. Or you can go for the Maw of Mormortius. Now, this one is not as good. However, this one gives you damage. So, I'm only talking if you're against like 3 AP champions, right? Which is very unlikely to happen. If you're against like almost full AP, you go for Spirit Visage and more, what is this item? Maw of Mormortius as your first few items, and you're never gonna die. You're literally never gonna die. However, any other case, you go for Death's Dance. Third item is gonna be a Cerulous Grudge. Really good to go for as your third item. You can go for, yet again, you can go for Spirit Visage. This item you can always go for, basically. It's the perfect item for Aatrox because it increases healing. But yeah, you want to get a Cerulous Grudge to increase your damage even further. Like, Cerulous Grudge plus Black Cleaver is absolutely crazy. However, if you're against like a very squishy enemy, you could skip out the Cerulous Grudge. Next item is going to be a Divine Sunderer. Now, this one is amazing too. Like, every time you use your abilities, you get the Divine Sunderer pack. And your first ability has 3 charges. And it is possible to proc it on any of the charges. So you could, for example, you could proc Divine Sunderer twice during your first ability. It's really nice to have on Aatrox. And it's only really nice to have in the late game, because in the early game you don't spam your abilities as much. You know, it has a pretty long cooldown. But in the late game, your first ability has like a non-existent cooldown. So you're all the time you're using Divine Sunderer. And then as your last item, Spirit Visage or Guardian Angel. So I just love Spirit Visage on Aatrox myself. But you could also go for Guardian Angel for the defense against the armor and to when, you know, if you die and you can heal up again. For the boots, I actually don't recommend Glutinous Griefs, which is kind of funny to say. Because you already have so much vampirism that you're generally better off going for Mercury Threads or Plated Steel Caps just to get tankier or more tenacious. This is like, you have so much vampirism, you just don't really need the extra 8% from these boots. About the enchantment, now here it gets completely situational and what your personal preference is. You could go Stasis against like a Fizz or something. You could go Glorious Enchant. Your ultimate will give you movement speed when you're moving towards an enemy, but it's not always enough. Glorious Enchant can allow you to catch up. You could go Protobot to get that extra dash. You could go QSS, you know, to have the QSS. This could allow you to skip out on the Mercury threats if you're only against like an Ashe or something, because the only big CC Ashe has, besides her slowing, which you can't stop anyways, is her ultimate, right? So if you're only against like one big CC champion, you could go for QSS just to avoid that CC. You know, Morgana is another example. Redemption, no. Teleport if you need teleport. And here, like, nothing really is good out of these ones for Aatrox. So, as I said, Stasis, Glorious Enchant, Protobot, QSS, and Teleport are the only viable ones on Aatrox. For the runes, you go for Conqueror. Always a Conqueror. It's perfect rune for Aatrox. Here I go for Triumph. I mean, Brutal, no. Because Brutal doesn't actually increase the damage of your first ability. And you don't use your basic attacks that much with Aatrox. And yet again, Hunter Vampirism, same story. You know, you already have enough Vampirism. It's a bit of a waste to go for even more. So Triumph is great. You know, when you finish off an enemy, boom, you heal up when you're at a low amount of HP. And you do bonus damage to enemies that are low. It's really nice. Third one is going to be Hunter Titan to get that tenacity. It's really nice to get. Yeah, that one. And then here you go for Hunter Genius. This one is especially meant for the late game to give you a lot of ability haste in the later stages of the game to spam your abilities. And for the spells, you go for Flash and Ignite. So that is it about the build. Let's now get, is this it? Yeah, let's now get into the gameplay. So, I have a lot of interesting stuff to say because I actually had a really fun day yesterday. And you know what? I'm just going to start talking about it already. Yesterday, I went rock climbing for the very first time. If you're not familiar what it means, well, I didn't went on an actual rock because that's only for pros. You have these places where they have like walls that go steep, that go like this, and then you can climb on them. And there's like different levels of doing it. My hand, my fingers, and my arm are so unbelievably sore right now, but I love it. I love the feeling. But it was so fun. I went with friends of mine, and of course, we were competing with each other. It was so fun. It was crazy because the levels vary so much. Like, you have the first level. Well, in the gym we went to, they didn't actually have the first level. Basically, in Europe, you have the level. The way the levels go is it goes from number 1 to number 9 as of today. That could be a number 10 in the future. Number 1 is essentially the same as climbing a ladder, which pretty much anyone could do unless you're like extremely obese. Then it goes up. Number 2, number 3. Number two is still incredibly easy, I would assume. Number 3 is where it starts to get a little bit harder if you're like, quite obese. But if you're a fit person, this should be really easy for you too. Number 4, it's okay. But then number 5, I don't know what goes wrong at number 5, but number 5 is hell. Keep in mind, it was my first time climbing, so I don't have good technique and stuff. But holy moly, it is hard. Like, the grips change. Instead of being able to hold, instead of being able to hold the whole thing, and imagine this being the grip, instead of being able to do it like this, you have to hold it like this. You see what I'm doing? Like, your fingers are holding your entire weight. It's crazy. And I'm talking about level 5 right here. You also have A, B, C, level 5, A, B, C. And then you also have plus, which is in between. I was able to finish level 5, C. So almost level 6, which is, I would say, is quite good for a first time climber. But do you guys understand how hard like level 7, 8, and 9 is? And it feels like it goes up exponentially. I mean, if you want to, you could even look it up on YouTube. Like, look up rock climbing silence. Silence is the hardest climb ever performed by a human being. It's a 9C performed by, I don't remember his name. But it's just ridiculous. It's ridiculous what people can do. But it was really fun. Like, doing a physical activity was really, really fun with my friends. Because often when I'm chilling with my friends, my real life friends, well, it depends on the group I'm chilling with, but these are like my real good childhood friends. Because I've known these guys since I was 14 years old. That's right, 14 years old. So, I almost know them for 8 years now. Well, it's not necessarily childhood friends, but yeah, I know them for a long time. But what I'm trying to say, often we would just go drinking together or chilling, or we would go out. You know what I mean? So just the standard stuff. But I was watching these rock climbing videos on YouTube, and then suddenly one of the friends messaged. It was like, "Hey guys, let's hang out." And then, of course, the light, the light lit in my head. I was like, "Okay, guys, we're going rock climbing. Trust me, we're gonna rock climb." I'm watching videos right now. This is destiny. We have to do it because it was coincidence that they messaged me on that day, on that time, while I was watching that video. So then we did it, and it's crazy how much my hands hurt. And my friends are a bit heavier than me. Like, they're taller, so they're heavier. Two of them have like really, really big bruises on their fingers because, they're heavier, so it's a bit heavier on their skin. I am lucky that I'm a bit lighter because I am 173 centimeters and I'm currently weighing in at 67 kilograms. So I'm quite light. I did gain weight, however, from working out, but it's fine. Like, I got strength as well. So it was so fun. It was so fun to do. It was really, really nice to do. But all right. Let's now talk about the game. So, what the hell happened? I haven't even paid much attention to this game, to be honest, guys. I was too busy talking. I want you guys to understand how ridiculous Aatrox is, but I think he can actually dive this. Like, this champion is so crazy. He didn't even use his ultimate. But an important thing to understand about Aatrox is this is a fighter. Like, and what I mean with that is, you have assassins, you have long range damage champions, you have bruises, you have tanks, you have that kind of stuff. This dude is a fighter. And what it means to be a fighter is you really want to try to keep fighting. So even a seemingly losing battle, generally it's better if you keep fighting. Generally. Because he heals up so much. His passive also works the way where if you hit the enemy while your passive is active, you will do bonus damage and you will heal up. So he has a lot of healing, a lot of sustained damage, and a lot of mobility. So he is a fighter. You want to fight like crazy. And a drafting tip I have for you guys when you play Aatrox is try to pick him against champions that are not very mobile. So bad matchups, you know, you wouldn't want to pick Aatrox into Master Yi, for example, which he did, because Master Yi is very mobile, he can dodge your stuff. Lucian also counters Aatrox. Ezreal is also pretty good against Aatrox. Vayne is also pretty good against Aatrox. You know what I mean? Ahri is also pretty good against Aatrox. You'll want to avoid playing against those types of champions. You'll want to avoid that. If you're against a champion that's not very mobile, now that's where you're going to shine. Don't tell me that he wins this. Don't tell me. Yeah, he actually survives that. Nah, but look at this. Look at this, man. And he's full HP already. Look at this. Look, but what is this damage, man? What is wrong with this champion? Like, I've always believed that Aatrox has been extremely unbalanced. Even after all the nerfs he's gotten, I actually still think he's hella strong. Like, I still think he's way too strong. It's crazy, this champion. Really, really crazy to me. Oh, by the way, I have good news. Remember when I told you guys I had like 3 people, I was working with 3 people for content. Lonelykid, Trust, and then Andres Set as well. But unfortunately, Andres Set, like, he's so good that it was hard for him to find good matches. He told me, like, he just can't find good matches. However, he just messaged me yesterday telling me he has a Blue Cane video, which means hopefully that he's back to sending content, because I would really love to show you guys how the literal best player in Europe plays the game, because he is objectively the best player in Europe. No one can even argue with that. So I'm really excited to bring you guys, you know, more great content. And yeah. That's right. I love how he's not scared at all. Like, I don't even think he should be scared of this turret. Like, actually, I don't think he should be scared of it. If he hit that one, I think he could have dived him. Like, if he hit the first one, I think he could have dived him. Now, you could... I don't think Mastery is gonna kill him. Yeah. Like, oh my... Oh, baby, what? He didn't even allow the Shen to ult right there. Did you see that? What I was trying to say is, if you haven't tried Aatrox yet, and you want to get into this type of champion, I actually recommend you to play Riven first. Riven is not necessarily easier, but Riven is the skill floor, which means it's easier to, like, play Riven decently than Aatrox. Like, Riven is much easier to play at a low, you know, okay-ish level. However, mastering the champions, I would say, is equally as hard. So if you do want to get into Aatrox, I first recommend you to play Riven. If you do enjoy Riven, that's when you should really try to get yourself into Aatrox, because it's quite similar. It's quite similar, the way these champions work. Look at that. Pfft. When he uses ultimate, it's just ridiculous how much damage, how much movement speed, how much healing he gets, everything. Just gets giga buffed. Oh yeah, and that's why I uploaded this video a bit late, by the way, because yesterday I was so tired. My arms were hurting so much, and I slept a bit too much. So I woke up, and I'm making the video right now. He went out of it. Whoa, is that Korean? Does he still have his game on Korean? It sounds badass as well. But I would still say Japanese sounds more badass. Damn. Oh. Really sounds like he's angry, he's mad. So about split pushing with Aatrox. Aatrox is really not that good at split pushing. Like, you would much rather fight with him. And one-on-ones, Aatrox is incredibly powerful, by the way. He may seem like a team fighting champion. He's surprisingly bad at team fighting. Not saying he's, like, actually super bad, but You would expect a champion like Aatrox to be insanely good at teamfights, but it's really not that good. Because his abilities are pretty hard to hit. So it's not easy to hit multiple enemies with it. So very likely you're going to be on one enemy and then all of the enemies are going to hit you. You know, unlike Riven, for example. Riven has a lot of AoE. Her first ability is much easier to hit on multiple enemies. Her second ability is AoE. Her ultimate is big AoE. So Riven has much more AoE than a champion like Aatrox. So he's, like, I'm not saying he's bad at teamfighting. He's just not as good as you would expect him to be at teamfights. Much better at 1v1s. Like, much better. Like, he's really good at catching out enemies. He's really good at catching out enemies because his ult gives him movement speed. You have a dash. You have a cage to catch them in. The second ability being the cage. So you have a lot of tools to catch a single enemy out. And that's why I'm telling you guys, you really don't want to be against a mobile enemy. Because Lucian, for example, he's just going to dash out of your cage. Or Lucian is just going to dash out of your first ability, right? But if you're against like an Orianna or something, she's not going to dash out of anything. She only has bonus movement speed. But that's not going to help her escape your stuff. So like, those are the types of champions you really want to try to pick Aatrox against. Like, look at this, look at this. There he goes, there he goes. Boom, boom. He couldn't flash after him, unfortunately. Oof, he actually did still try to flash after him. But that's a bit too much. I mean, Dragon is up. This is probably too much. It's not like they're gonna get anything out of this Herald anymore. He goes for teleport. He goes for teleport. And he's gonna be able to kill the Yi, no? He saves his Tryndamere. He actually, if he didn't do this, Master Yi would have killed Tryndamere and Master Yi would have probably gotten the dragon. But because he teleported right there, wow. Why is my neck hurting as well? Like, how does your neck have anything to do with climbing? Damn. I wonder if there's any one of you guys that has ever climbed before. And I wonder what level you've achieved. Like, if you've ever done this stuff before. Because, like, I was able to do 5C, which, you know, I'm pretty sure I'm capable of doing more. But I'm happy to have done that in my first try. But like after a while of doing this kind of stuff, your arms will get so sore that you can't even hold your own weight anymore. It's kind of funny. Like an hour into the climbing, it was already so much harder to climb because my arms started hurting like crazy. And your fingers, man. I mean, the rock climbers, their girlfriends must be very happy with that finger strength they have, huh? Child friendly. Yeah, he's finishing the game right here. Aatrox is just ridiculous, this champion. Look at Master Yi. Master Yi is looking for blood. Look at this guy. Not hesitating at all. You see how he was just going in like... I'm going in. One objective in mind. Kill. But he just killed one enemy and he died, unfortunately. It's Divine Thunder as well. Look at how strong he is. 14k gold in a 13-minute game. Boom. Boom. And by the way, to learn the combos of Aatrox, what I recommend you to do is just go into practice mode. You can actually watch some League of Legends small guides. There are small guides on how to learn how to combo with a champion. So what I recommend you guys to do is look up Aatrox combos. Just look that up. Go into practice mode and do the combos. Look at his damage, man. He's not dying. He just doesn't die. But yes, look up Aatrox combos. Go into practice mode and practice them. And then when you are in a game, that's when you can do them. That's how you get good at champions like this. That's the only way you can learn how to combo champions like this. Like, that's the only way. Unless you're like a natural god at this game. I mean, my approach is to just do it in ranked, but I don't recommend it. I do recommend you to actually practice it in practice mode. Let's take a look at how much damage he did and everything like that. He's currently sitting at master rank, which is pretty nice. Better than 97% of Aatrox's. He did 22.3 thousand damage, which is pretty nice. I wonder how much healing he did though, but I don't think he'll show that. But yeah, thank you guys so much for watching. I really hope you enjoyed this video, and I will see you all in the next Wild Rift video. Bye bye.